Sai Ram to all brothers and sisters present here today, and welcome to day 5 of the Chandi Saptaha. We have, over the past 4 days, experienced complete bliss as we have heard both the Devi Mahatmyam chanting, the Parayanam, the evening sessions, the Lalita Sahasramam, the Kukumarchanam, and many other austerities that have been performed to Ma. And in the evenings, we have got an opportunity to listen to the Upanishad series and had a chance to bask in some of the meanings and the intricacies that were explained by our revered resource persons. Today, we have yet another opportunity to listen and comprehend the beauty of the Prashna Upanishad, which will be delivered by Sri Sundar Anantharaman sir. Sundar Anantharaman sir has been associated with Swami's institution and been with Swami for more years than words can speak about. But to do justice, I will just speak a few words. Currently, Sundar sir is the state spiritual coordinator in the Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization's Karnataka South. Prior to this, he served as the district president of Bengaluru West District from 2011 to 2020. Professionally, Sundar sir is managing a firm of his own area in the area of soft skills training and mentoring, which he started with Swami's divine blessings in the year 1995. Sir has been coordinating a national initiative called the Vahini Swadhyaya, a certification program in the study of Bhagawan's Vahini series, apart from being an active resource person on the Vahinis. Welcome, Sundar sir, and looking forward to hear his insightful words on this topic. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagawan. Dear brothers and sisters, we have been having a lot of insights into the practical aspects of the Upanishads. And as we have been sharing, we are not focusing on the theoretical aspects or the poetic aspects of Upanishads. Bhagavan's way of expounding the insights of Upanishads has been a mix of prose and poetry. If Upanishads does not have a relevance in our day-to-day life, it becomes too philosophical for humans to understand, comprehend, leave alone practice. As I shared in the first day, Bhagavan's style of exposition of the Upanishads has been its applicability in day-to-day life, so that man's life on earth becomes more meaningful and more purposeful. Coming to this aspect of the practical aspects of Prashna Upanishad, possibly very many of us would not have heard about these Upanishads because Kathopanishad or Taittiriya Upanishad or Kena Upanishad, Isavasya Upanishad are all very popular Upanishads. But out of the 10 Upanishads which Adi Shankaracharya wrote bhashyams, and out of the 11 Upanishads which Bhagavan has written in Upanishad Vahini, Prashna Upanishad is one of the very, very important Upanishads. This Upanishads assumes more significance because Bhagavan has spent hours in these Upanishads. He has delivered 4 discourses in 1991 summer course, followed up again in 1993 with 3 more discourses. So, apart from what he has written in Upanishad Vahini, Bhagawan has given 7 discourses on this very same Upanishad. So let's spend some time and understand what is Swami saying. And as a disclaimer, I don't have any authority to talk about any of the Upanishads personally. We are only trying to reflect and re-deliver what Bhagavan has said after having understood and also practiced a little bit. Prashnopanishad, as the name suggests, is in the form of a question and answer. We have heard about Prashnottara Vahini in Vahinis. That is also in the form of question and answer. Sandehini Varani is also is a style of question and answer. Right? Similarly, Leela Kaivali Vahini is also. 3 Vahinis out of the 15 Vahinis are in the form of a Q&A. And this Prashna Upanishad is also in the form of Q&A. It forms a part of the Atharva Veda. And Swami says it is an extension of Kathopanishad, and also it has got some aspects of Mundaka Upanishad in Prashna Upanishad. Now, as I said, Prashna Upanishad is question and answer. Question and answer. Now, who asks questions and who answers here? There were 6 students who approached sage Piplada Maharshi. And these 6 students were sons of very great rishis and seers, which I will come to that later. But what Swami is trying to say, the essence of this Upanishad is, Swami says there are 2 aspects to life. One is padartham and other one is parartham. Every padartha has got a parartham. Every object has got a base. For example, simply speaking, this podium is a base for this laptop. If the podium were not to be there, how will I hold the laptop on hand? So this is the adhara for laptop. Now for the podium, what is the adhara? The floor. For this building, what is the adhara? The foundation. Normally, the adhara is not seen, the adheya is seen. For example, a tree. A tree is visible to us. Its branches, the flowers, and the fruits, and the twigs, and all that. But what is the adhara is the unseen root. The unseen root is the adhara for the tree, which is adheya. Normally, adheya is seen. Adhara is not seen. But the adhara is everything for adheya. Similarly, for example, prani and pranam. Now, this is very, very oft repeated statement which Bhagavan says. Pranam is the adhara for a prani. This body is adheya, not adharam. What is adharam for this body is the atma, which is unseen again. In scientific terms, it is called as matter and energy. Energy is not seen, matter is seen. Jada and Chaitanyam. Moolam and Sthulam. These are all various other vocabularies and nomenclatures which Swami is giving for us to understand the concept better. Now, these 6 students came to Piplada Maharshi. Who are the 6 students? The 6 students were Kabandhi, who was the sage, son of sage Katya, Bhargava, son of from Vidarbha Desha, Aswalayana, son of Aswala, Gargeya, who is also called as Sauryayani, grandson of the sun god, Satyakama, the son of Sibi Rishi, and Sukesha, the son of Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja was a great surgeon in those days. His son was Sukesha. Now, these sons of great rishis were the 6 students. Now, why did they come to Piplada Maharshi? To know the aspect of Parartha. Padartha, they are already seeing the world. But they understood that there is something beyond this seen world, and they wanted to know about that, and they wanted to know what is the basis of our life. And they came to get all their doubts cleared with sage Piplada Maharshi. Now, this is the story. They approached Piplada Maharshi all together and started asking questions. Like most of the youngsters, they ask questions. Now, what happens here? Now, this is one point I'd like to spend some time, brothers and sisters. Is the answer given by Piplada Maharshi not in an answer as an answer to the questions they raised, but the very approach of asking questions. He says, you don't have right to ask questions. You cannot shoot questions to me like this. Why? Because there is a reason. Education in those days were not the like of education what it is happening today. Today, at the touch of a button, you have information about everything. Thanks to Google, thanks to ChatGPT, thanks to AI and machine learning, we have become machines itself. Anything in this world, anything you want, just touch of a button, information is available. But is this education? Not at all. This is access to information, that's all. Even if I have not gone to Melbourne, I can write an essay on Melbourne. I don't have any practical experience of going and living there and living in that climate, living in that lifestyle or food or whatever it is. I don't have to, but I have access of information, or as having gone to Melbourne, I can write a 2-page essay on that. Is this knowledge? Is this knowledge? No. So the education system, brothers and sisters, in those days was Anubhava Jnana, not bookish knowledge. Not bookish knowledge. It used to be Anubhava Jnana, which is based on Vicharana or enquiry, where the teacher or the guru will not reveal all the aspects of education. He will know the entire knowledge, but he will not reveal it to the students just in a jiffy. No, he will not. Why? Because even if he gives that knowledge, it will only remain on the top of their mind and they will forget. First of all, they will not be able to understand. Even if they understand, it will not remain in their memory, they will forget. So the system of education those days was that students will have to have anubhuti. Now, there are 2 words here. One is anubhuti and the second one is swanubhuti. What is anubhuti? Anubhuti is practical experience, experiential learning with body and mind. But swanubhuti is a step higher, where I experience through the heart or the self. And swanubhuti is more authentic than anubhuti. Anubhuti is more authentic than bookish knowledge. So what did Piplada Maharshi said when these questions were asked to him? He says, you don't have any qualification to ask this question. Why? Because you are asking a question which is beyond the senses. You are at the worldly level. You are at the level of the mind. You are having worldly feelings. You are having body illusion. With this, you will not be able to understand the Paratattvam, Swami says. Andani Chandamamanu Veluto Chupinettuga. Swami says in Telugu, Andani Chandamamanu Veluto Chupinettuga, ఇంద్రియాతీతమైన పరతత్వము మీకు ఏ రీతి బోధించాలి? ఈజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్. స్వామి సేస్ దిస్. Supposing there is a moon. Those days when we were child, my mother used to take me and then give me food, not by showing mobile. There were no mobiles. She used to show the moon. And when she used to see the moon, did we see the moon? No. We saw the mother's face and also maybe at the tip of the finger. That's all. We cannot see beyond that. So Piplada Maharshi says, Swami says, that it is like asking the details of the moon where you can't even see the tip of the finger. Can you understand Paratattvam? He says, to give an injection, you need to be a doctor, or at least you need to be trained as a nurse to give an injection. To construct a bridge, you need to be at least a civil engineer, or you need to have an experience of constructing bridges or buildings. Without that knowledge, there's no qualification for you don't deserve to take up that position. Similarly, even to ask questions, you need certain deservedness. You need certain mental and physical makeup. So the advice given by sage Piplada was, be here in this ashram for next 1 year. Undergo the sadhana which I am going to tell you. Control your senses. Have regulated food habits. Do the sadhana. Perform all the rituals which I am going to tell you as ordained in the Vedas. Then probably after 1 year, you will reach a state of mind, both mental and physical. Then when I say the answer, the questions which you have raised, you may be able to understand, it will remain in your memory, and also you'll be able to practice. This was the case with Bhrigu and Varuna also. This was the case with every sage and a disciple. Shwetaketu and Uddalaka, yesterday we saw that. So the system of education was so rigorous that the students, once they learn, they will not be able to forget. Why? Because it is experiential learning and not bookish learning. Swami says there are four levels of education. One is Sastra Jnana, bookish knowledge. Second is Anubhava Jnana. Third is Viveka Jnana. Then Laukika Jnana also, you should need to have Laukika Jnana also. Only when a person has got all the four, he is considered as an educated person, says Swami. But today, the moment I score high marks in one examination, which is purely bookish, I think that I know everything. This is the problem of today's education. When they go to an organization and start working, what they have learnt and what they are going to do, there is absolutely no connection. So these students were so committed, so disciplined, that they forgot their homes. They stay put in the ashram. They did the sadhana, maybe Omkaram, Suprabhatam, and all this stotram. They went to river to take bath along with the things, because education those days they never had periods and classrooms and things like that. They used to be with the professor always. So they were with the Guruji always. Wherever he goes, even in walk, they used to give lesson. They used to get lessons. So that used to be the system of education those days. So they spent the whole 1 year, and they did not even know that 1 year was past. Then the teacher, the Guruji, Piplada Maharshi, knew, because those days there were no calendars, there were no diaries, there were no watches, right? It's only the movement of the sun they used to calculate. 365 days gone. The students have not reminded. The students were spending happily time learning the aspects of the Vedas. And then he himself asked those 6 students to come on a day and asked the youngest boy, Kabandha, to ask questions. He asked, "What is your question?" Now, I think we have discussed this. "What is your question, Kabanda?" He asked the youngest boy of the 6 students. He asked the student. Now let's come to the first question. The first question is, Kabanda asked sage Piplada, who created this world? How was the creation made? Who was responsible to create the living beings on this earth? Piplada Maharshi smiled and said in one sentence, it was Prajapati who created this world. Brothers and sisters, if you understand what is Prajapati, Prajapati is not the name of a person. Prajapati is the name of a title, a role. Like, for example, doctor is a role, teacher is a role, right? Auditor is a role. Who is the auditor? That is different. So, similarly, Prajapati is a role or a title. There can be anybody who can be a Prajapati. So, these students were very much disappointed with this generic answer. Sage, we spent 1 year. Is this to know that only one sentence answer that Prajapati created the whole world? We were waiting for more than 1 year to get this answer. Is it so simple? Then this is again a part of the answer only. He will give this answer and test the students, his interest and willingness and shraddha to learn more. This is a system of education. So they will not reveal the whole thing. It is not like today's Google. Then he said that Prajapati here is food. The other day, DV brother was also mentioning about food aspect. It is because of food that we all live. We were all born. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad, you said, we read, Akashad Vayuhu, Vayur Agnihi, Agni Rapaha, Abhyah Prithivi, Prithivi Oshadibhyaha, Oshadibhyo Nam, Annat Purushaha. Akashad Vayu, but Akasha came from Atma, the Paramatma, the super consciousness. From super consciousness came Akasha, Vayu, all that, and ended up with food and man. So we are product of food. So here the Prajapati is the creator, is food. Swami in Telugu says, Etivanti Pogano, Atuvanti Meghamu. Etivanti Meghamu, అటువంటి వర్షము ఎటువంటి వర్షము అటువంటి పంట ఎటువంటి పంటనో అటువంటి వంట ఎటువంటి వంటనో అటువంటి మనుష్యు ఎటువంటి మనుషునో అటువంటి మనసు. So there is a link, there is a chain, there is a process involved. So Prajapati created beings. The students were not happy. They asked other questions. Then he said, Prajapati, with his will, said, he taught, Ekoham Bahusyam. Ekoham Bahusyam. And he willed that I should become many. Then what happened immediately is, he created Ravi and Chandra. Ravi means moon, Ravi means sun, Chandra is moon. Ravi is the masculine aspect and moon is the feminine aspect. So it is only a combination of feminine and masculine aspect that the creation takes place. So what Swami says here is, sun is the basis of creation. Because of sun rays, it fell on the universe. There started the plants, then the crops and all that. And then the sun rays fell on the moon and moon became cool and moon became the aspect of sun. So that is how creation started, is what Swami says. So who created the living beings? Prajapati. How did the creation happen? Ravi and Chandra was created. Ravi is the masculine aspect and Chandra is the feminine aspect. Now, this is what Swami says in this Upanishad, prana and prani. Prana, whenever Swami says, talks about prana in Prashna Upanishad, he refers to sun. And whenever he says prani, he is referring to moon. So, in the first slide, I said prana and prani means sun and the moon. Because we will be mentioning this vocabulary again in the coming slides. Prana and prani. Prani is based on prana. Prana is the creation, sun. And because of prana, prani is created. So prani is adheya, prana is adhara. Prana is a support, prani is the supported. So this was the first question, and this question was answered. The second question was, is there no end for birth and death? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Where does it end? Asked the second question by the second student. Where does it end? Pipla answered, you think there's no end. There is an end. There is an end, and the end is in your hands. When I say end, not the life of end, but end of birth and death is in your hands, says Piplada. Here he gives further details that all of us know about this. The time is divided into two halves, Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. The northward journey of the sun and the southward journey of the sun. Ayana means travel. Now here Swami says, when a person lives normally in this world with worldly feelings and attainments, and he is happy with that. It's not that we should not have worldly feelings. We should have worldly feelings. We should have worldly attainments also. But the bhava is very important here. Now, this is a very important crux, the takeaway message for all of us from Prashna Upanishad. It is that if we live this world forgetting the divinity, forgetting the basis of our lives, we live materialistically, what happens is we go towards southward direction. And any person living in this, leave the body in the southward, that is the Dakshinayana, what he says is, apart from the Narakam and things like that, let us take it positively, is that he will attain the moon region, that is the lunar region. And supposing he has gained some punya in this life, he will exhaust all that and again come back to earth, again born as a human being. This is when you do good deeds, but all your deeds is not nishkama karma. You have done it, though it is good deeds, you have done it with an attachment. That means with the basis of mind. When I say moon or lunar region, it is not the moon. Swami says it is not the moon which we see where astronauts have gone. It is not that. It is the mental aspect. The mind aspect is called as the lunar region. So you remain in the lunar region. That means you exhaust all your merits and again come back to earth, born on this earth. That is what is called as Kshine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. Kshine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti means you exhaust all your merits and then again come back. Otherwise, you'll be come back the next day itself. Probably. I do not know. I'm just telling you. Probably the next day itself you will come back if you don't have any credit balance or if you don't have any punya. This is for people who have done good deeds, not the people who have lived like animals. Because a lot of individuals live like animals. They cannot, for everybody we say, Swami Atra Ser Kondru. Who knows where they have gone? Swami Atra Swami Padaki Ser Kondru Sar. We say it positively. The second aspect is those who travel in the northward direction, that is in the Uttarayana. Those are the people who do the same activity of anybody but with Brahma Bhava. This is what Swami is using this word Brahma Bhava. That means heart as the basis. Just to understand, in a normal way, in a normal vocabulary, where mind and body is dominant, it is Dakshinayana. Where heart is the basis, heart means sun, mind is moon. If heart is the basis, if we can do every activity, even if it is the worldly activity, as an offering to Bhagawan, with no expectation of results, with no Arshad Vargas, purely as an offering to Swami, as a Nishkama Karma, with Brahma Bhava, with the only objective of satisfying the Lord, then He takes over. Then what happens is there is no attachment. When there is no attachment neither to the result, nor to the glory, nor to the name or fame, Kartritva Bhava or Bhoktritva Bhava, we do it with Brahma Bhava. What happens is the attachment is removed. Meaning, he gives an example of the grain, a paddy, a grain which has got a covering. Now, if the covering is there, you put it again in the soil, it will grow again. That means the covering in the rice, the paddy, is the attachment. It is the Maya aspect. It is the attachment. So, with attachment, Kshine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. Even if you get the moon region, you will again come back after exhausting your credit balance. But if you remove the husk, what happens is, even if you put it in the soil, it will not grow. That is what Swami says is Punarjanma na vidyate. There is no again rebirth for you. Because now you are, please listen to this very carefully, you are joining prana with prana. Brothers and sisters, is very, very important. If you join prana with prani, prana on the one hand, you leave the prana, with your joining with prani, then what happens is Kshine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. But what is happening is you are removing that husk of desire and greed, offering it to Bhagavan with Brahma Bhavam. What happens is you are removing that husk. Then what happens is you are leaving this prana with prana. You are joining both prana and prana. Then what happens is Punarjanma na vidyate. This is how Bhagavan has beautifully explained the practical aspects of life. Let us not think that Upanishad is theoretical. Let us not think that Upanishad is too philosophical for us to understand. It has got no connection with life. No. It has got a connection with life on this earth very much. These are the aspects which we need to grab and apply it as early as possible, brothers and sisters. Let us try to understand this. First of all, we should need to understand. The other day I was sharing this message that we say, we offer every action to God and Karishye Vachanam Tava. We all of us say Karishye Vachanam Tava, Karishye Vachanam Tava. If we don't know what the Vachanam is, how do you do the Karishye? Karishye Vachanam Tava is applicable only when we know what it is, no? What is the Vachanam of Bhagavan? These are the Vachanam of Bhagavan. We have to understand. Then comes Karishye. First of all, Shravanam. Second is Mananam. Then comes Nididhyasanam. Shravanam is listening. How many of us listen to the discourse of Swami? How many of us read Sai literature? Even if you read once, do you understand? Do we take the pains of studying again and again and again, still we get it like those 6 students? Do we have the determination? I don't know. We can't be judgmental. It is even each one of us to say that. But what I'm trying to say here is there is a system in our organization. The 9-point code of conduct says study of Sai literature. The 9-point code of conduct says start the day with Omkaram Suprabhatam. That is what this is, Piplada Maharshi, I mean, students of Piplada Maharshi were doing. Why it is prescribed is because it takes us to a state of mind where all the disappointments you take it in your stride and never react but respond. Swami doesn't like reaction. We need to respond, act, not pronounce. So, what I'm trying to say here is let us understand this aspect, a simple aspect. Prana to prana, prana to prani, it doesn't work. Prani is moon, prana is sun. So, sun need to be joined with sun. Then only punarjanma na vidyate. This is the reply given by Piplada Maharshi. So, what's here he says is the question was what? The question was, is there no end to birth and death? There is an end. And it is based on your actions, your bhavam with which you do. If you forget God, if you forget His message, live keeping God at a distance, then punarapi janaram, punarapi maranam. This was Piplada Maharshi said. And we need to understand this and then conduct. That is what Swami is trying to say. So, the second question is there a no end? There is end. What is the end? It is based on your actions. If you can take everything positively, do everything positively, every act, whether it is worldly or spiritual, as an offering to God, you reach a level of the solar region where punarjanma na vidyate. This is the second question. The third question, which is the power which pervades the body? Which is the power which pervades the body? I'm just putting it in a very simple thing because the question there in Prashna Upanishad would have been lengthier, but in the interest of time, I'm just putting it in a very concise manner. He says, prana is the basis for life. That is life. And it is the basis, is the sun is the basis for prana. It is the life force. Swami gives a very good example. Now we see all these lights here. Now electricity is flowing in all these lights, whether it is floodlight or fan or whatever it is. There are so many bulbs in this. Is this current energy split into each bulb? The electricity is one, but the bulbs are many. Similarly, prana is one, but the beings are many. The same prana is flowing in all the beings, living beings, not necessarily human beings. And that is the energy, that is the prana which pervades all over the body. Which is the power is the question. The power is prana. Now, here is a very important aspect. This is the takeaway message from Prashna Upanishad to all of us. No, these are all things which we can understand today and practice it tomorrow, brothers and sisters. It is so practical. He says the body contains 72 crores of nadis, nerves. We can only say nerves, but it is not the exact translation. Nadis, 720 million or 72 crores of nerves in our body. And the prana, the pancha prana, is divided and it is flowing in all these 72 crores of nerves. Specifically, out of the pancha prana, vyana is the prana which is present in all the 72 crores of nerves. There is one more prana, that is udana, which Swami says is present on the top of our eyes. It is a constant witness to our actions, not only physical actions, even thought is also considered as an action, as we saw day before yesterday. Thought, action, attitudes, vasanas, all this is monitored by Udana Vayu. And this Udana Vayu is responsible to give us the deservedness of what we are today. Some of us may be doctors, some of us may be chartered accountants, some of us may be bankers, professors, businessmen, whatever it is. That status has been given to us by Udana Vayu. And Udana Vayu continues to give us the experience by being present always. And the presence of Udana Vayu is on the top of our eyes, says Swami. I don't know if anybody else has told this, but our Bhagawan has told it very, very clearly. Years back, to young students who are 17 years and 18 years, not to people who have retired in life. He said all this in the summer course for youngsters, not more than 20 years. But where is the headquarters of this? Where is the main switch? For example, all this is there, but the main switch is switched off, everything will switch off. That is what Swami says. The prana is there in your body. Nilato yada madhyasta dvidvillekeva bhaswara nivara shukavatanvi pita bhaswatyanupama tasyaya shikhaya madhye paramatma vyavastitaha, which chant this every day in Narayana Suktam. What does it mean is, Swami says, in the spinal column, between the 9 and 12 vertebrae, lies the prana shakti. That is the main switch, that is the main powerhouse of all the pranas. Prana is spread all over the 72 crores of nerves, but it mainly centered around the main storehouse of the prana is Nilatava Yada Madhyastha, the back spinal column. Between 9 and 12 vertebrae lies that prana shakti. This is the answer given by sage Piplada. So, what is the takeaway message here, brothers and sisters? Is all that is fine. We are not going to the mantra portion. Mind you, I have not uttered, I don't even know what the mantra is of Prashna Upanishad is. Swami has not uttered any of the mantras in the 7 discourses which he has delivered. He is only taking the prose aspect, taking the essence and giving it to us like a cake on the plate for us to eat and digest and practice. That's all. Mantras is one. What is the use of mantra chanting without knowing the meaning and without practicing? Instead, even if without the knowledge, mantra is good. Mantra is definitely, knowing the mantra is very good. But knowing this meaning and practicing is more important than the theoretical, bookish, shastra jnana, what Swami says. Anubhava jnana is very important. So, he says Udana Vayu is always is there. Vyana is all over the body, and Udana Vayu is specifically responsible for the status, and it gives immediate results for our actions, thoughts and actions. This is what Swami is saying. Yes. This is the question. Now, the fourth question by the fourth disciple. The question is, when beings sleep, when we all sleep, who actually sleeps? In reality, who is awake, and who dreams? It's a very interesting question, probably very worldly question also. And he says, like the sun, the glory of the sun is seen in the daytime, but in the evening falls. It is not a reality, but when we see, it is as though the sun rays are withdrawn back into the sun. Similarly, all our senses are withdrawn by the mind during sleep. So the senses, though it is present, is not in action or is not in action mainly because the mind withdraws all the senses, indriyas. So the senses are dormant. However, Swami says the life forces, the pancha prana is awake. That is how we are breathing. That is how the body is kept alive, right? So the pancha prana through the panchagni is always awake. And who is the person who enjoys deep sleep is the jivi. And it is a mind which creates the dream. Now, very uh, curiously, one aspect Swami says, mind is responsible for dream, all the dream. Now, what happens in a dream is that all of us would have experienced, we would have seen certain strange people in our dream, whom we have not see. What is the normal, the normal scientific way of explaining is that whatever is recorded in the subconscious mind comes as dream. Yes, whatever we have seen, we have heard, we have met people and all that. Suddenly somebody comes in our dream. I'm not talking about Swami's dreams, because Swami's dreams are different. I'm talking about the normal dreams. There are a lot of places where we have not gone, which comes in our dream. There are a lot of people where we have not, whom we have not, also comes in the dream. Swami says the dream which you are experiencing need not be of this life. It can be of the past life also. Or he says it can be of your future life also. This is what Swami says. Mostly it is a past life. Even our past life, whomever we have met, those people again can come, because the mind doesn't die. Those situations, those aspects will again come in our dreams. But sometimes, even in the future, what we are going to experience also come in today's dream. That is what Swami says. So, dream is something which is very, very unpredictable. And what we have experienced, Anubhavancha potunniri. That's what even the future, Anubhavinchadi, even the future thing also can come in your dream, is what Swami says. Now, I don't know. I have not heard this apart from Swami's literature. So, the dream aspect is very, very important. So, if you see somebody in your dream whom you have not met, if you see some place in your dream where you have not gone, you can think that probably we had experienced this in my past life, or probably I'm going to experience in future life. This is the fourth question. The fifth question is a very interesting question. The student asked this question, Swami, it is said that in your last breath, when you are leaving this body, if you chant Om Pranava, you reach Akshara Prapti. That is, Akshara means immortality. Is it true? Does it happen? See, the youngsters who are just younger than this boy who is sitting here, half the age of this boy, is asking so magnificent questions. Even as senior citizens, those questions doesn't come into our mind. But the young boys of the sages, of sons of the sages, are asking this question. When we leave this body, in the last breath, it is said in our scriptures that when we utter the pranava omkaram, that we attain akshara prapti. Is it true? Does it happen? He says it happens, but there is a precondition. So, Piplada Maharshi, Swami, explains the beautiful aspect of pranava, which was dealt by Madam Saroja Krishnamurti on the second day, and to a certain extent by Brother D.V. also. So, I'm not going to go deep into that. But it's a reminder. Let us recapitulate what it contains. Is Pranava has got three matras. Akara, Ukara, Bakara matras. Pranava has got 3 lokas embedded, enshrined in it. Bhur, Bhuvas, Suvaha. Physical, Suvaha, and the materialization, vibration, and radiation. And it is embedded in these 3 Vedas also, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda. So, Omkara, the Pranava, has got 3 aspects embedded. I'm using the word embedded because most of us will understand this. Enshrined in it. The 3 lokas, the 3 matras, and the 3 Vedas. Now, if you just keep on chanting Omkaram, Om, 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 he says you will not reach anywhere. That Akshara Prapti is out of question. First of all, you should chant Om. Most of us chant, for example, the 21 times of Omkaram, which brother was mentioning, sister was mentioning. But then, how do we chant? See, the aspect of pranava is we have to take a pranavopasana. How do we chant at the end? Only start early, drive slowly, reach safely. Without practice, we can't do anything. Right? Throughout the life, we see only YouTube and Netflix. Right? If this is given to a 20-year-old boy, he will say, okay, yeah, no problem. No, I will do it. Throughout the life, we see Netflix and YouTube. And last stage, you will attain Akshara Prapti. This is what is the understanding most of us have got, by youngsters, even seniors have got. No, it doesn't happen. What Swami says is, the 3 precondition is, Omkaram should be chanted as a prarthana with bhavamu and should be taken as sadhana. This is the take-away message, brothers and sisters. It is just not chanting Omkaram. Omkaram should be chanted as a prarthana, as a prayer. Prayer of whom? Prayer of Omkaram itself. And we should chant with the feeling that it is a universal sound. Pranava. It is a universal sound. Any sound is only a byproduct of Omkaram. Swami says, "E table no kottu." Swami pats on the table, and this thing which comes is Omkaram. He says that there is a light pole. You take a stick and hit it. This thing which comes is Omkaram. You close your ears. The kind of sound which is there is Omkaram. Any sound, physical or spiritual, whatever we learn, we hear, is a byproduct, an offshoot, an offspring of pranava. So that pranava should be chanted with bhavamu. And the third is, it should not be fits and starts. It is not like Bengaluru rain seasons. Whenever it is possible, we'll do it. When there is no time, we will not do it. It's not like that. It should be taken as a sadhana. Then only it becomes pranavopasana. So if we can do this, prarthana, bhavamu, and sadhana, then what happens is, it becomes, then that person may attain Akshara Prapti, is what Swami says. I'll quickly run through the 2 of the slides. One is, though this is not a part of the question, Swami talked about Hiranyagarbha. In fact, this very famous photograph which you are seeing is seen by all of us. This was taken by Swami in the 1991 summer course here in Brindavan, when he was delivering the lecture on Prashna. When he was giving the delivery of lecture of Prashna, he immediately took out that lingam, Hiranyagarbha lingam, and he says, this lingam has got all the countries in the world. Meer akkadi nunche chudavachunu, Swami says. Because students were very much eager. It says it has got all the worlds enshrined in this, embedded in this. And he says, what is this Hiranyagarbha? There are 2 or 3 or more explanation which can be given. We don't have time. I am only taking one aspect of Hiranyagarbha. And he says, Hiranyagarbha, Hiranya is there in every human body. It is there in every human body. In fact, we were there, physically present in 2002, on 13th of March during Shivaratri on that morning. We were sitting in Kulwant Hall, and Swami explained this, that don't think Hiranyagarbha means it is a thing which is there in your body. It says it is there on the right hand side, but it is not in the physical aspect. It is in a liquid form, invisible, but it is there. All of us have got approximately 2.5 grams of gold in our body. And a person with 100% purity, we will be able to gather all that and take it out, like what Swami says, what Swami does. So, where is it? Swami gives an explanation. When you cut your finger, blood oozes out. Swami has explained this. And there is a white protective skin. You think it is a part of the skin. He says that is the aspect of Hiranya in your body. This only Swami has given, I don't know, he has given this. So we have to go deep and find out and understand all these things. Then only we'll be able to practice Swami's teachings. So this is the aspect of Hiranya, and Hiranya is there in all of us. And that is the divinity which is present. Now the last question he says, the student asks, is what is the difference between Purusha and Purushottama? I'll just take 2 more minutes. Purusha and Purushottama. Who is Purusha and who? First of all, we should understand what is Purusha. Who is Purusha? Purusha is not the person with shirt and a pant and a person. No, he is not called as, that is a nomenclature, normal worldly nomenclature. Purusha is that energy which is present in your body. He says, Nakasita Paryantamu. Continuously in your body, an energy is flowing, and that energy is Purusha, from top to toe. And this is therefore Mahilas as well as gents. Nomenclature is normally Purusha means gents. It's not like that. Purusha is the living being, and Purusha is the energy which is there in our body from top to toe, which is continuously getting circulated. Now, Purushottama, see, all of us have got these 16 aspects, the 5 elements, the 5 pranas, pancha pranas, the 5 jnanendriyas, 1 mind is aspect. So all of us are Shodasopachara personalities, 16 aspects are there. But who is a Purushottama? The Purushottama is a supreme one, mostly an avatar. He is the one who uses these 16 aspects for the welfare of the world, not for selfish purposes. We also use it for, but an avatar, a Purushottama, has got all these 5 elements. Jnanendriyas, elements, Jnanendriyas, mind and all that, 16 aspects, but he uses every single aspect for the Loka Kalyana. Nothing for his selfish purposes. He becomes Purushottama. This is what the clarification given by Piplada Maharshi. Brothers and sisters, the subject matter is very huge, and we have only condensed it to 40 minutes. It is impossible to cover that in 1 hour or 2 hours. Even in Vahini Sudhamrita sessions, we have covered this in 4 hours. Even then, there was a lot of material which had to be covered. So with this, I offer this presentation at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagawan. Now, if there are any questions, I'll try to answer. We have Brother Mahendra also to help with me to answer the questions. If there are any questions, please. Yes. Can you pass on the mic? Please talk in the mic. Can you please talk in the mic?
Sairam. Is this 72 crores or 72,000 nadis?
72 crores. 720 million.
Then usually say this is the 72.
Are you a doctor?
No. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because doctors differ. Swami has said 72 crores of nadis, nerves. Nadis.
Nadi.
It is not literally nerves. It is said as nadis. 72 crores of nadis.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Nagaraj. You can take a mic or come the front. Oh, you're a doctor. I think you'll talk about nerves. You'll definitely ask about nerves.
Sairam sir,
Sairam.
you told that prana exists there. I have two questions. Where is the existence of Atma in our body? Just Swami tells wherever it is. And do we lose that prana aspect when we die? That prana, pana?
Yes, yes.
And what? While doing, means while offering to Swami or to Bhagawan, we pranaya, swapanaya, vanaya, udana. Is that the same thing, same aspect?
No, that aspect we are doing mantra. I mean, maybe Subbu will be able to give you a better answer as regards the Naivedyam is concerned. That is a part of the mantra aspect. No, but why? The first question is you're asking about Atma, the energy, the prana. That's what I said.
Where is
Purusha
Atma?
and Purushottama. That Purusha is, Swami defines, a Purusha is a person, or the Purusha is the energy which flows from top to toe in our body, which is continuous, and that is Atma, and that is Prana, that is the energy, that is Chaitanya. You call it in any name, that is one. Huh? It is atomic energy. It is the atomic energy. And the prana leaves. Only when the prana leaves the body, a person is considered dead. You are the doctor, you know when to give a death certificate, right?
So whatever I heard means whenever we see something, we'll just keep it our hands on our chest like this. I've heard somewhere Swami telling that this is the site of Atma. Atma resides here. And physically,
The prana, as I told you,
uh,
the Swami has clearly said even in our Vedas, Nilato Yadamadhyastha Didvilekeva Bhavsura. That is where Sabrahma Sashiva Sahiri, the Sendra Sokshara Paramasurat. That is the Paramatma. That is the prana. Right? So that there's no confusion in that. But the heartbeat is different, sir. That is physical. Where you
Because-
keep your this thing and heartbeat, you are a doctor.
yes,
So you
until
know
the
that heartbeat is physical.
yes, sir. Until the heart beats, we say that he is still alive, even if he is not breathing. Until the heart beats. So, in the right aspect here, what we call in the heart, that there is a node called sinoatrial node. From that, a bunch of nerves is there that pumps the heart, that sends the electrical current to the other parts of the heart. So when I was a medical student, first I heard of it. And when Swami, after hearing lot of his discourses, and where he tells that whenever we feel something, we just keep our hand like this, Abba or Rama, something, or when that is the site of Atma. So where that a nerve starts, that is the Swami says right half of the chest, Atma resides. I have heard somewhere, sir.
No, I'm
Uh,
telling you,
uh,
I'm telling you from Swami's discourse.
yes, sir. Yes.
And you can refer back
Ah.
and say,
Atma
That-
and prana is different then.
no, it is aspect of the GV, sir.
Yes.
Prana is the aspect of the Atma.
Hmm.
And this cannot be unlike science, this cannot be said, this is like this is like this. It cannot be said. Spirituality, that's what Swami. See, we are trying to understand the moon, which is 245,000 miles away. Understand the moon from here. That is what Piplada Maharshi says. You don't even have the qualification to ask questions. I'm not telling you. Piplada Maharshi said that students. So what I'm trying to say here is these are all aspects which cannot be discussed with worldly feelings. with worldly feelings, with body feelings, with physical aspect, material aspect, this cannot be answered. It is only Swami who has said, and whatever Swami has said, we have to take it at face value. That's all.
Yes.
Swami has said that your prana exists in the body. Is so many times he has chanted Neelado Yadamadhyastha. I can send you the audio file also. And he says between 9 and 12 vertebrae, not in the heart, not here. He says it is here. 9 and 12 vertebrae is very, very clear. We have to read that, we have to study that, and we have to understand, we have to practice. There is no confusion. Yeah, it is prana shakti. Yes, prana shakti. Yes, yes, exactly. See, for example, he gave this example. Inni balbu velugutunnayi, Nagara sir. Inni balbu velugutunnayi. Do you think that prana is divided, the electricity is divided? That is one of the questions. It is not the electricity, it is only one prana which so many lights are being lit. But where is the main switch for that? The main switch is in one side. So if the main switch is off, even if the bulb is there, electricity is there, it will not light. Similarly, the main switch is here. And from there only it has the prana shakti is going to all the parts. That is why we are able to hear, we are able to see, we are able to speak, we are able to act. That is the basis. And he says it uses this word main switch. Please read that discourse. There are two discourses, one in 1991 and second one is 1993. He has amply clarified that. Anybody else? You still have 3 more minutes. Yeah. Mic is not switched.
Yes.
Mic, I think, is not.
Difference between reaction and respond.
Reaction and respond. Okay. You are asking a question, I am responding with an answer. Supposing you ask a question. No, why are you asking this question? Don't you know how it is going? Why can't you read Swami's literature? I told you that it is neither nine. This is reaction. This is reaction. Response is to listen to you and to respond with a cool mind. Though I know and you also know, just to clarify with equimindedness is response. More often times we react, but we need to respond. Reaction is with mind, response is with intellect and heart.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
Sairap, the Nishkama karma or the travel towards north that you explained to attain the Brahman, can you give some few examples of what are the Nishkama kriya?
Sarva karma bhagavat prityartham. This is what Swami has said. Whatever we do, right? That boy is handling the mic. He should do it as an offering to Swami. They are going to sing bhajans. They are going to offer it to Swami. He chanted Vedas. He is going to offer it to Swami. I am speaking. What did I say? I offer this at the lotus feet of Bhagawan. That is Nishkama karma. Without any expectation.
Thank you, sir.
Without any expectation. I should not be having any expectation whatsoever. Without any expectation, offering it to Bhagavan is simple Nishkama karma.
Sairam, thank you.
What the sun is doing, yes, exactly. Sun doesn't expect anything. Swami gives very many examples, like the trees. The trees is there, it gives shade, it gives fruits, it gives flowers. Whoever it comes in its ambit, it gives shade. Does it expect anything? Does the river drink its own water? These are the examples your Swami has given. Like that we should be. In the interest of time, I'm not avoiding questions. In the interest of time, since it is 6 o'clock, yes, as you rightly said, for the full this thing, possibly we need to spend 1 year, like those students who spend 1 year in Piplada Maharshi's ashram. We need to spend 1 year here so that we can possibly Swami will answer all our questions. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing those wonderful thoughts with us. I think true to the name of Prashna Upanishad, we had a lot of questions, and as sir said, I think even 1 year might not be enough with for our minds to be able to comprehend, to first get to the state where we can ask questions and then start asking the questions and find the answers. All of us have a long way to go. But thank you, sir, for giving us the opportunity to at least start the process toward which we can begin understanding the complexities of Prashna Upanishad. Uh, few points which sir mentioned as takeaways, I thought I'd just quickly summarize. I know we are on the interest of time. The youths who were in question has some fantastic questions. And I think one thing we should all be touched by, which sir mentioned, is the practicality of the Vedas. Every day morning when we started, we spoke about chanting happening continuously throughout the day. We have so many wonderful chanters. How can we practically apply that in our lives? And Swami has given so many wonderful examples. I think we should take inspiration from sir's speech and start applying some of these values in our lives, and in order to please Swami better. I'll quickly run us through the 6 questions and some of the important points I thought sir covered. The first question, of course, is who created this world? And we understood that Prajapati, everything, and then we took reference from the Taittiriya Upanishad as well to understand that Prajapati is the answer to every single who created question. Second question was, is there an end to birth and death? And what is that end? What causes that end? And I think there was a question about it as well. Nishkama karma, sir mentioned, doing everything for God, talking for God, understanding the Upanishad for God, doing every small action that we are doing is for God. And this small thing about how the lack of Nishkama karma can lead us to the lunar region, which sir mentioned, which is even cause disastrous effects. So if you do Nishkama karma, you have positive effects. If you don't do Nishkama karma, you have disastrous effects. Whatever good merits you have done are also going. So that's something I think we should all think about. What is the third question? Is what is the power that pervades the body? The prana. What is that prana? What is the power? That is the prana. And I think there was also a question about the 72 crore nadis that are there in the body that Swami has told us about, and the importance of the 9th and 12th vertebrae and how it's centered among that. That was the third question. The fourth one is, I think this is a very beautiful question, something that all of us already experience. What is sleep? What do we mean by asleep? What is asleep in our body? How are we still breathing? What is that life force that keeps us alive? And what is a dream? How do we all dream? And I think I think 5-6 minutes we spent talking about that. But to summarize it, I think the GV is what enjoys the deep sleep while the mind creates the dream. And I think some point that I have never heard before, and I'm sure a lot of brothers and sisters might not have heard, Swami has said that the dream can be what you are experiencing in the present. It can be something that you have experienced in the past and something that you might experience in the future. So now I think all of us will go and enjoy our dreams even more and try to relate, whether it's past, present, future, or what it is. That was the fourth question. The fifth question is, again, a very popular opinion that chanting of Omkaram in your last breath will lead to moksha, will lead to immortality. Is that true? And Swami has said that yes, it definitely leads to, but there are preconditions before you meet that, before you are able to achieve that. The first one being prarthana, second one being bhavam, and third one being sadhana. I won't go into it. Sir did a great explanation of what each of those are. But if we follow these three, Swami has said that in our last breath, Omkaram will lead us to immortality. The sixth question, what is Purushottama and what are the 16 aspects? I think Sir spoke about what is a Purusha, what is a Purushottama, what is the difference between them. And primarily my understanding was that anybody who can experience each of those 16 aspects are the ones who can differentiate themselves as Purushas and Purushottamas. So those were the 6 questions, and very potent questions. And I think all of us should strive to start thinking on these lines so that we can be able to experience some of these things that Sir told us. 2 small points which I would like to remind everyone remind from Sir's speech is how Sir said the Hiranyagarbha Lingam, that photo that we have seen so often. I didn't know that it was in Brindavan in 1991. Thank you, Sir, for sharing that. A beautiful picture, and I think all of us being in this sacred holy grounds should relate to it even more. I think when you are sick or something, Swami has said you can keep that photo and miracles will happen. So I encourage you, please watch those videos which are there in the Sri Sathya Sai, Radio Sai channel, and you can understand how Swami has mentioned the Hiranyagarbha Lingam and the power of it. And we are all blessed to be here in Brindavan in the same place that Swami had spoken about this in 1991. And I think one last point is how Sir spoke about the Hiranya, which is there in every human body, the presence of godliness in every human body, and how it's there on the right side, and the presence of purity in each one of us. And Swami has said, if you are 100% pure, you will find 2.5 grams of gold in liquid form on the right side. So I hope a lot of us here can implement a lot of these things that Sir said and achieve that 100% form of purity that Sir would like us to achieve. Let's all pray to Swami and continue to offer every single aspect, including breathing, that we can to Swami in order to realize what he wants us to. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session, brothers and sisters. Jai Sai Ram.